Chosen one, a final alert is sounding for you right now. God is calling you to silence and listen, because what's coming next will shake your very soul. This moment isn't random. It's a divine signal, a whisper from the heavens urging you to pause, to quiet the noise of the world, and to hear the message meant only for you. Something monumental is unfolding. A breakthrough so powerful it will redefine your path is waiting, but you must stop talking, stop doubting, and truly hear what God is revealing. Your destiny hinges on this moment of stillness. This isn't about shutting out the world for the sake of peace. It's about creating space for divine clarity. God's voice doesn't compete with the chatter of your mind or the chaos around you. When you silence the distractions, those endless thoughts, fears, and voices pulling you in every direction, you open a direct line to the Creator. He's been speaking, chosen one, but have you been listening? The world is loud, full of opinions, demands, and doubts. Yet in this sacred pause, you'll hear the truth that's been waiting to transform you. Right now, I need you to do something simple but powerful. Hit that like button to anchor this moment of focus. Subscribe to join thousands of chosen one souls who are awakening to their divine purpose. And in the comments below, type 777 to declare that you're ready to listen, ready to receive the divine alert meant for you. These actions aren't just clicks, they're signals to the universe that you're aligned with God's plan. Think about Moses standing before the burning bush. The world was roaring around him, his past as a fugitive, his fears of returning to Egypt, the weight of his people's suffering. But God told him to stop, to take off his sandals, to stand still on holy ground. It was in that silence that Moses heard the call that changed history. You, chosen one, are standing on your own holy ground right now. This is your burning bush moment. Will you stop long enough to hear what God is saying? The message God has for you isn't vague or distant. It's specific, personal, and alive. When you quiet your mind, you'll feel it a stirring in your spirit, a certainty that something greater is at play. This isn't about chasing answers or forcing solutions. It's about letting the answers come to you. God's plan for your life is already written. Your prosperity, your healing, your purpose, it's all waiting in the silence. The question is, are you brave enough to stop and listen? Picture a stormy sea, waves crashing, winds howling. That's the world you've been navigating, full of chaos, uncertainty, and noise. But God is calling you to the eye of the storm, where peace reigns and truth speaks. In that stillness, you'll hear His voice clearer than ever. It might be a single word, a sudden understanding, or a vision of what's to come. Whatever it is, it's yours alone, chosen one. It's the key to unlocking the gates of your destiny. Silence isn't weakness, it's power. When you choose to hush the doubts, the fears, the endless what-ifs, you're not giving up. You're stepping into authority. The enemy thrives on noise, on distraction, on keeping you too busy to hear God's truth. But when you silence those voices, you take back control. You align with the divine frequency that's been calling you all along. This is your moment to stand firm, to listen, and to let God's voice drown out everything else. Have you ever noticed how the greatest breakthroughs come after moments of quiet? Look at Elijah, hiding in a cave, running from his enemies. The wind roared, the earth quaked, the fire blazed, but God wasn't in the noise. He came in a still, small voice. That whisper shifted Elijah's entire mission, giving him the strength to rise again. Your still, small voice is waiting, chosen one. It's the alert that will guide you to your next chapter. This final alert isn't about fear, it's about preparation. God is setting the stage for something extraordinary in your life. A financial breakthrough that will leave others in awe. A healing that defies explanation. A purpose so clear, it will light up your path like never before. But to receive it, you must listen. Not with your ears, but with your spirit. Not with your mind, but with your heart. This is the moment where everything changes if you let it. Let's talk about what happens when you truly hear God's voice. It's not just a feeling, it's a transformation. Your perspective shifts. Where you once saw obstacles, you'll see opportunities. Where you felt lack, you'll sense abundance. This isn't about wishful thinking, it's about divine alignment. When you listen, you step into the flow of God's plan, where every step feels guided, every decision feels certain, and every moment feels purposeful. Right now, the world is trying to drown out your divine connection. Social media, endless notifications, the demands of daily life, they're all noise. But God's voice cuts through it all. When you silence the distractions, you'll hear him say, "I have chosen you. I have prepared a way for you." This is your final alert, chosen one. The heavens are aligning, and your breakthrough is closer than you think. Will you stop to hear it? Consider Noah building the ark while the world mocked him. He didn't argue or explain. He listened to God's instructions in the quiet of his faith. That obedience saved his family and changed the course of history. Your obedience to this moment of silence could be just as powerful. It could be the key to saving your dreams, your future, your legacy. What God is about to reveal is worth every second of stillness. This alert is urgent because time is shifting. The season you're entering isn't like the ones before. It's a season of divine acceleration, where blessings you've prayed for, dreams you've held on to, and promises you've trusted will manifest at a speed that takes your breath away. But to step into this season, you must hear the instructions. God's not shouting, he's whispering, and that whisper carries the power to move mountains in your life. What does it mean to truly listen? It's not just closing your eyes or sitting in quiet. It's an act of surrender. It's letting go of the need to control, to plan, to figure it all out. It's trusting that God's voice is enough. When you do this, you'll feel a peace that surpasses understanding. You'll sense a clarity that makes every decision easier. This is the gift of silence, chosen one, the gift of hearing what's been true all along. Let me remind you to hit that like button and subscribe to join thousands of chosen one souls who are stepping into their divine calling. In the comments, type 777 to signal that you're ready to hear God's voice, ready to embrace this final alert. These actions are your declaration to the universe that you're aligned, awake, and prepared for what's coming. Think about the woman at the well, meeting Jesus in an ordinary moment. She wasn't seeking a revelation, but when he spoke, she listened. That single conversation transformed her life and her entire community. Your ordinary moment is here. This video, this message, this call to silence, it's your encounter with divine truth. What you hear in this stillness could change not just you, but everyone around you. The enemy wants you distracted. He wants you scrolling, worrying, doubting. He knows that if you truly listen, his grip on you is broken. That's why this alert is final. It's God saying, "Enough. Stop the noise. Hear me now." When you do, you'll realize the power you've always carried. You're not just a chosen one, you're a force, a vessel for God's glory, a light that no darkness can overcome. Silence is your weapon. It's where you find the strength to rise above challenges. It's where you discover the courage to step into your purpose. When you listen, you're not just hearing words, you're receiving divine instructions. These instructions will guide you to financial freedom, to healing, to relationships that align with God's plan. Every answer you've been seeking is waiting in the quiet. Picture a seed buried in the earth. It's silent, hidden, still. But in that silence, it's growing, preparing to break through the soil and become something extraordinary. That's you right now, chosen one. In this moment of stillness, God is preparing you to break through. Your growth, your breakthrough, your destiny. It's all happening in the silence. Don't rush it. Trust it. When you embrace this call to listen, you're not just waiting for a miracle, you're positioning yourself for one. God's promises are already yours, but they require your attention. Think of Daniel in the lion's den. The world expected him to be devoured, but in the silence of his faith, he heard God's protection. That same protection is over you now. That same power is yours when you listen. This final alert is your invitation to step into a new reality. A reality where lack becomes abundance, where confusion becomes clarity, where fear becomes faith. God is speaking directly to you, chosen one. His voice is clear, his plan is perfect, and his timing is now. But you must silence the noise to hear it. You must stop talking, stop doubting, and let his truth fill your spirit. Imagine standing at the edge of a new chapter. Behind you is every struggle, every doubt, every moment you felt lost. Ahead of you is a path lit by divine light, paved with promises and filled with possibilities. To step forward, you need only listen. God's voice is the map, the compass, the key. In the silence, you'll find everything you need to walk boldly into your destiny. This isn't about escaping the world, it's about rising above it. When you listen, you tap into a power that no storm can shake. You align with a purpose that no enemy can steal. You become the chosen one God always knew you were. The world will see it, your life will reflect it, and the heavens will confirm it. But it all starts with this moment of silence. Have you ever felt a pull, a quiet nudge in your spirit, telling you there's more? That's God speaking. That's the alert you've been waiting for. It's not loud or dramatic. It's a whisper, a certainty, a truth that feels like home. When you silence the noise, you'll hear it louder than ever. And when you do, everything will change. Your finances, your health, your relationships, they'll all align with God's perfect plan. Let's talk about what's waiting on the other side of this silence. It's not just peace, it's power. It's not just clarity, it's destiny. When you listen, you'll hear God's promises in a way that makes them undeniable. You'll feel his presence in a way that makes fear impossible. This is your moment, chosen one. The heavens are open, the alert is sounding, and your breakthrough is here if you'll stop and listen. Consider Mary, the mother of Jesus. An angel appeared with a message that seemed impossible, but she didn't argue or doubt. She listened. She said, "Let it be to me according to your word." That simple act of listening changed the course of history. Your act of listening could do the same. It could shift your life, your family, your legacy. What will you hear when you silence the noise? This final alert is a call to trust. Trust that God's voice is enough. Trust that his plan is greater than your fears. Trust that the silence you embrace today will lead to the abundance you'll walk in tomorrow. You don't need to strive or struggle. You need only listen. In that stillness, you'll find the strength to rise, the wisdom to move forward, and the faith to receive every promise. The world is full of voices telling you who you are, what you can't do, where you'll never go. But God's voice is different. It's steady, unshakable, true. When you silence the world's noise, you'll hear him say, "You are mine, you are chosen, you are ready." This is the moment to claim that truth, to step into the life he's prepared for you, to become the light he's called you to be. Right now, I invite you to hit that like button and subscribe to join thousands of chosen one souls walking this path of divine awakening. Type 777 inches, the comments to declare that you're listening, that you're ready for God's final alert. These actions are your commitment to the journey, your signal that you're stepping into the silence where miracles are born. Think about the disciples waiting in the upper room. They were told to wait, to be still, to listen for the Holy Spirit. In that silence, the power of Pentecost came, tongues of fire, a rushing wind, a transformation that shook the world. Your Pentecost is coming, chosen one. Your moment of divine power is near, but it starts with listening, with silencing the noise, with trusting God's voice above all else. This alert is final because the time for hesitation is over. God is moving, and he's calling you to move with him. The doors of heaven are opening, and your name is written on them. The blessings you've prayed for, the dreams you've held, the purpose you've sensed, they're all waiting in this moment of silence. Don't let the noise of the world drown them out. Stop, listen, and receive. When you embrace this silence, you're not just hearing God, you're aligning with him. You're stepping into a flow where miracles happen naturally, where provision comes effortlessly, where purpose unfolds perfectly. This is the power of listening. This is the gift of stillness. This is the moment where you, chosen one, become everything God created you to be. Imagine a river, steady and strong, flowing with divine purpose. That's what your life becomes when you listen. Every doubt, every fear, every obstacle is swept away in the current of God's plan. You don't have to fight for it. You don't have to chase it. You simply have to hear it. In the silence, you'll find the direction, the strength, and the abundance you've been seeking. This final alert is your wake-up call. Not to action, but to attention. God is speaking, and his words are life. They're healing, their prosperity, their purpose. When you silence the noise, you'll hear the truth that's been true all along. You are chosen, you are loved, you are destined for greatness. And that greatness starts now. In this very moment of stillness, picture yourself standing at a crossroads. One path is loud, chaotic, filled with the world's demands. The other is quiet, clear, lit by divine light. God is calling you to the quiet path, where his voice is the only sound. It's where your purpose is revealed, where your blessings are released, where your life is transformed. Choose the silence, chosen one. Choose to listen. When you do, you'll hear more than words. You'll hear promises. You'll hear destiny. You'll hear the heartbeat of God's plan for your life. This is your final alert, but it's also your first step into a new reality. A reality where you walk in power, live in abundance, and shine with divine light. Stop talking, chosen one. Silence your doubts, and listen to the voice that's calling you home. This call to silence is more than a pause. It's a gateway to divine revelation. God isn't just asking you to be quiet. He's inviting you to step into a sacred space where his truth can reshape your reality. When you still your heart, you allow his voice to paint a vision of what's possible. This vision isn't a dream, it's a promise, etched in the heavens, waiting for you to claim it. Chosen one, the silence you embrace today is the foundation for the miracles you'll walk in tomorrow. Consider the stars above, shining in the quiet of the night. They don't compete with the noise of the day, yet their light pierces through the darkness. That's what your silence does. It lets your inner light shine, unobstructed by the chaos of the world. When you listen, you're not just hearing God's voice, you're becoming a beacon of His truth. Your presence, your peace, your purpose, they all glow brighter in the stillness. Have you ever stood by a calm lake, its surface so still it mirrors the sky? That's what your spirit becomes when you silence the noise. A perfect reflection of God's will. In that reflection, you'll see yourself as He sees you, not broken, not lacking, but whole, chosen, and destined for greatness. This isn't about escaping reality, it's about seeing reality as God intends it. A reality where you rise above every limitation. Right now, I urge you to hit that like button and subscribe to join thousands of chosen one souls awakening to their divine calling. Type 777 inches the comments to affirm that you're listening, that you're ready to step into this sacred silence. These actions are your vow to the universe, a signal that you're prepared to hear the truth that will set you free. Think of David facing Goliath with nothing but a sling and a stone. The world shouted at him, mocking, doubting, warning. But David didn't respond to the noise. He listened to God's quiet assurance, the voice that told him victory was already his. In that silence, he found the courage to act. Your Goliath is waiting, chosen one. It might be a financial struggle, a broken relationship, or a dream that feels out of reach. Listen, and you'll find the courage to conquer it. This final alert is a call to realign your focus. The world pulls you in 1,000 directions: work, worries, expectations. But God's voice pulls you to one truth: you are His. When you silence the distractions, you'll hear Him whisper your purpose. It's not a vague idea, it's a specific plan, designed for you before time began. In the quiet, you'll discover the steps to take, the doors to walk through, the life to live. Imagine a locked door, behind which lies everything you've ever prayed for. The key isn't effort or striving, it's listening. God's voice is the key that unlocks your destiny. Every word He speaks carries power to open doors no man can shut. Every instruction He gives leads to paths no enemy can block. Silence your doubts, chosen one, and let His voice turn the key. The enemy fears your silence because it's where you connect with divine power. He'll send distractions, endless notifications, urgent problems, fleeting worries to keep you from hearing God. But when you choose stillness, you choose victory. You align with a force greater than any challenge. This is your moment to shut out the enemy's noise and tune into the frequency of heaven. Picture a warrior standing calm in the midst of battle. Swords clash, arrows fly, chaos reigns, but the warrior is unshaken. Why? Because they've heard the commander's orders. They know the plan. You are that warrior, chosen one. God's voice is your commander, and His orders are clear. In the silence, you'll hear the strategy for your breakthrough, the blueprint for your success. When you listen, you're not just receiving words, you're receiving life. Jesus said, "My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me." You are His sheep, chosen one. His voice is calling you to green pastures, to still waters, to a life of abundance. But you must quiet the world to hear it. You must trust that His voice is enough to guide you. Have you ever watched a sunrise, how the world holds its breath as light breaks through? That's what this moment is for you, a divine sunrise, where God's truth illuminates your path. In the silence, you'll see the first rays of your breakthrough. You'll feel the warmth of His promises. You'll know that the night of struggle is over and a new day is dawning. This final alert is your invitation to step into divine timing. God's plans don't follow the world's clock. His blessings come when you're aligned, when you're listening, when you're ready to receive. Silence isn't about waiting aimlessly. It's about preparing intentionally. It's about positioning your heart to catch every word God speaks, every promise He fulfills. Think of Esther, standing before the king, risking her life for her people. She didn't act on impulse. She fasted, she prayed, she listened. In that silence, she heard God's strategy, and it saved a nation. Your silence could save your dreams, your family, your future. It's where you hear the strategy that turns impossible into inevitable. The world will tell you to keep moving, keep talking, keep striving. But God says, "Be still and know that I am God." That stillness is your power. It's where you find the confidence to face any challenge, the wisdom to make any decision, the peace to overcome any storm. In the silence, you become unstoppable because you're anchored in God's truth. Imagine a compass, always pointing true north no matter how the world spins. That's what God's voice is for you, a steady guide, unwavering, true. When you silence the noise, you align with that compass. You find your direction, your purpose, your destiny. Every step you take in that alignment brings you closer to the life God promised. Right now, hit that like button and subscribe to join thousands of chosen one souls walking in divine truth. Type 777 inches the comments to declare that you're ready to hear, ready to align, ready to rise. These actions are your commitment to the silence that unlocks your breakthrough, the stillness that reveals your destiny. Consider Jonah, running from God's call, swallowed by the whale. In the darkness, in the silence of the deep, he finally listened. That moment of stillness turned his rebellion into obedience, his fear into purpose. Your moment of silence could turn your doubts into faith, your struggles into victories. What is God saying to you in the quiet? This final alert is a call to trust your inner knowing. You've felt it before, that quiet certainty, that nudge in your spirit. It's God speaking, guiding, affirming. When you silence the world, that knowing becomes louder, clearer, stronger. It's the voice that says, "You are enough, you are chosen, you are ready." Listen, and you'll never doubt again. Picture a tree, rooted deep in the earth, unmoved by the fiercest storms. Its strength comes from its roots, hidden in the quiet soil. Your silence is your root system, chosen one. It's where you draw strength, where you anchor your faith, where you grow into the purpose God planted in you. In the stillness, you become unshakable. When you listen, you're not just hearing God, you're partnering with Him. You're stepping into a divine collaboration where His plans become your reality. Every promise He's made, every dream He's given you, every purpose He's placed in your heart, it's all activated in the silence. This is where your life shifts from ordinary to extraordinary. Think of the apostles at the Last Supper, sitting with Jesus, hearing His final words. The world was about to turn against them, but in that quiet moment, they received the truth that would carry them through. Your final alert is your Last Supper moment. Chosen one, God's words to you now will carry you through every trial, every doubt, every victory. The enemy wants you to stay in the noise, to miss this moment. He knows that if you hear God's voice, His schemes are finished. But you're not here to be distracted. You're here to be transformed. Silence the noise, and you'll hear the victory that's already yours. You'll feel the power that's always been within you. You'll know the truth that sets you free. Imagine a flame, burning steady in a dark room. It doesn't flicker or fade, no matter how strong the wind blows. That's your spirit. When you listen, God's voice is the fuel, keeping your flame bright, guiding you through the darkness. In the silence, you become that flame, a light that no shadow can touch, a force that no enemy can stop. This final alert is your moment to claim your divine inheritance, not through striving, but through listening. God has promised you abundance, healing, purpose, but you must hear His instructions to receive it. Silence isn't empty. It's full of His truth, His power, His love. Step into it, chosen one, and watch your life transform. This call to silence is your bridge to divine authority. When you quiet the clamor of the world, you step into a realm where God's voice reigns supreme. It's not just about hearing words, it's about claiming the power to walk in His truth. Chosen one, the silence you embrace now is where you discover your ability to command your destiny, to shape your future, to stand as a vessel of His glory. God's alert is clear. Stop, listen, and rise into the authority He's given you. Picture a mountain standing tall against the sky, unmoved by storms or time. Its strength comes from its foundation, rooted deep in the earth. Your silence is that foundation, chosen one. When you still your mind, you anchor yourself in God's eternal truth. From that place, you can face any challenge, speak any truth, and walk any path, knowing His voice guides every step. Have you ever watched a river carve its way through stone? It doesn't force its path, it flows, steady and sure, until the rock gives way. That's what your listening does. It carves a path through the obstacles in your life, not with force, but with divine persistence. In the silence, God's voice becomes the current, moving you forward, clearing the way for your breakthrough. Right now, I invite you to hit that like button and subscribe to join thousands of chosen one souls stepping into their divine purpose. Type 777 inches the comments to declare that you're tuned in, ready to hear the truth that will shift your life. These actions are your signal to the heavens, a testament that you're aligned with God's final alert. Think of Abraham, called to leave everything familiar and journey to an unknown land. The world around him was loud with reasons to stay: comfort, security, certainty. But in the quiet of his faith, he heard God's promise. That single moment of listening led to a legacy that still shines today. Your moment of silence could birth a legacy just as powerful. Chosen one. This final alert is a summons to see beyond the surface. The world shows you problems, limitations, and fears, but God's voice reveals solutions, possibilities, and courage. When you silence the noise, you see with divine eyes. You see the wealth waiting for you, the healing prepared for you, the purpose calling you. This is where your vision becomes God's vision. Imagine a clock, its hands moving in perfect rhythm, never rushed, never late. That's God's timing in your life. When you listen, you align with that rhythm. Every delay becomes a setup, every setback a stepping stone. In the silence, you hear the tick of divine timing, guiding you to the exact moment your blessings will unfold. The enemy thrives on chaos, on keeping you too busy to hear God's truth. He'll send doubts disguised as logic, fears dressed as caution. But in the silence, his illusions crumble. You hear the voice that says, "I am with you always." That truth is your shield, your sword, your victory. Silence the enemy's lies, chosen one, and let God's voice be your guide. Picture a lighthouse, standing firm against crashing waves, its beam cutting through the darkest night. That's what your silence makes you, a beacon of God's light, unshaken by the storms around you. When you listen, you shine brighter, guiding yourself and others to safety. Your life becomes a testimony to the power of hearing God's voice. When you embrace this call to listen, you're not just waiting for answers, you're receiving divine blueprints. God's instructions aren't vague, they're precise, tailored to your journey. In the silence, you'll hear the next step, the right decision, the perfect path. This is where your purpose takes shape, where your dreams become reality. Think of Samuel, a young boy awakened in the night by God's voice. He didn't understand at first, but he learned to say, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening." That moment of stillness made him a prophet, a leader, a voice for God's truth. Your stillness could make you a leader in your own right, chosen one, carrying his truth into the world. This final alert is your invitation to step into divine confidence. The world may shake you with uncertainty, but God's voice anchors you in certainty. When you listen, you know who you are, where you're going, and why you're here. That knowing is your power, your peace, your promise. Silence the doubts and let his truth fill you. Imagine a garden where every seed is planted with care, growing in its own time. Your silence is the soil, rich and ready for God's promises to take root. When you listen, you nurture those seeds, your dreams, your calling, your future. In the quiet, they grow into something beautiful, something eternal, something divine. The enemy wants you to stay loud, to keep talking, to drown out God's voice with your own plans. But when you choose silence, you choose freedom. You break free from the chains of worry, the weight of control. You step into a flow where God's plans unfold effortlessly, where his voice leads you to abundance without striving. Picture a symphony, every note played in perfect harmony. God's voice is the conductor, and your silence is the moment you tune in to his rhythm. When you listen, your life becomes a masterpiece, each moment aligned with his purpose. You don't need to force the melody, it flows naturally when you hear his direction. Right now, hit that like button and subscribe to join thousands of chosen one souls embracing their divine calling. Type 777 inches the comments to affirm that you're listening, that you're ready to walk in God's truth. These actions are your declaration, a signal that you're stepping into the silence where miracles happen. Think of Paul, struck blind on the road to Damascus. In the darkness, in the silence, he heard Jesus speak. That moment transformed him from a persecutor to an apostle, from a doubter to a disciple. Your moment of silence could transform you just as powerfully, chosen one, turning your struggles into strengths, your questions into answers. This final alert is a call to reclaim your spiritual authority. The world may try to define you, limit you, silence you, but God's voice reminds you who you are, chosen, loved, destined. When you listen, you step into that identity. You walk with a boldness that no fear can shake, a purpose that no obstacle can stop. Imagine a flame in a lantern, glowing steady no matter how the wind howls. That's your spirit when you listen to God. His voice is the fuel, keeping your light alive, guiding you through the darkest paths. In the silence, you become that lantern, shining his truth, illuminating your destiny and showing others the way. When you embrace this silence, you're not just hearing God, you're becoming one with his purpose. You're aligning with a plan so perfect it makes every struggle worth it. Every word he speaks carries the power to heal, to restore, to prosper. Listen, chosen one, and let his voice remake your world. Think of Hannah, praying silently in the temple, her heart pouring out to God. Her quiet faith moved heaven, and God gave her a son who changed a nation. Your quiet faith could move heaven too. It could birth the answers you've been seeking, the blessings you've been praying for. What will you hear in your silence? This final alert is your moment to step into divine alignment. God's voice isn't just guidance, it's transformation. It reshapes your thoughts, your actions, your life. When you listen, you become the person He created you to be. You walk in power, live in peace, and shine with His glory. Silence the noise, and let His truth lead you. This final alert is your summons to a divine awakening. When you silence the world's noise, you open your spirit to a truth so profound it shifts the very ground beneath you. God's voice isn't just a sound, it's a force, reshaping your heart, realigning your path, igniting your purpose. Chosen one, in this sacred stillness, you're not just listening, you're being reborn into the fullness of who God created you to be. Imagine a canvas, blank and waiting for the artist's brush. Your silence is that canvas, ready for God to paint His masterpiece. Each word He speaks adds color, depth, and meaning to your life. In the quiet, you see His vision for you, a life of abundance, healing, and unshakable faith. This isn't about erasing your past, it's about creating your future with divine strokes of truth. Have you ever stood in a forest where the only sound is the whisper of leaves? That quiet holds a power, a presence that feels alive. Your silence carries that same power. When you listen, you tap into a divine current, a flow of wisdom that guides your every step. God's voice becomes the wind, moving you gently but surely toward your destiny. Right now, I urge you to hit that like button and subscribe to join thousands of chosen one souls embracing their divine calling. Type 777 inches, the comments to declare that you're ready to hear, ready to awaken to God's truth. These actions are your signal to the heavens, a testament that you're stepping into the silence where transformation begins. Think of Lazarus lying in the tomb, surrounded by darkness and silence. When Jesus called his name, that stillness became the birthplace of a miracle. Your silence is your tomb moment, chosen one. God is calling your name, ready to raise you from doubt, fear, and lack into a life of purpose and power. Will you hear His voice? This final alert is a call to rediscover your divine identity. The world may label you by your mistakes or limitations, but God's voice speaks your true name. In the silence, you hear who you really are: chosen, beloved, destined. That truth becomes your foundation, unshaken by the storms of life, unswayed by the opinions of others. Picture a flame dancing in the heart of a furnace, untouched by the heat around it. That's your spirit when you listen to God. His voice shields you, strengthens you, keeps you burning bright no matter what tries to consume you. In the silence, you become that flame, radiating His light, defying every force that seeks to dim you. The enemy fears your stillness because it's where you connect with divine strength. He'll send distractions, urgent tasks, fleeting worries, endless noise to pull you away. But when you choose silence, you choose power. You align with a truth that no lie can touch, a purpose that no scheme can derail. This is your moment to rise above. Imagine a book, its pages filled with a story only God could write. Your silence is the moment you turn the page, ready to read the next chapter of your life. His voice reveals the plot, every twist, every triumph, every promise. In the quiet, you discover the story you were born to live, the destiny you were meant to fulfill. When you listen, you're not just hearing, you're receiving divine clarity. God's words cut through the fog of confusion, showing you the path ahead. They're not vague promises, they're specific instructions tailored to your journey. In the silence, you find the map to your breakthrough, the key to your abundance, the light for your way. Think of John the Baptist, alone in the wilderness, listening for God's call. The world was loud with expectations, but he found his purpose in the quiet. His voice became a herald of truth, preparing the way for Jesus. Your silence could prepare the way for your own miracles, chosen one, heralding a new season of divine favor. This final alert is your invitation to step into divine partnership. God doesn't just speak to guide you, he speaks to work with you. When you listen, you become his hands, his voice, his light in the world. Your silence is where you agree to carry his purpose, to walk in his plan, to shine with his glory. Picture a riverbed, dry and waiting for the rains to come. Your silence is that riverbed, ready for God's blessings to flow. When you listen, his voice becomes the water, filling you with life, washing away doubt, and carrying you to places you never imagined. In the quiet, your life becomes a river of divine provision. The enemy wants you to stay in the noise, to miss God's voice. He knows that when you hear it, his plans unravel. But you're not here to be distracted. You're here to be transformed. Silence the chaos, and you'll hear the truth that sets you free, the power that lifts you up, the purpose that defines you. Imagine a mirror, reflecting only what is true. Your silence is that mirror, showing you God's vision for your life. In it, you see not your flaws or fears, but his promises and plans. You see the chosen one he created, the destiny he prepared, the life he's calling you to live. Listen, and let that reflection become your reality. Right now, hit that like button and subscribe to join thousands of chosen one souls walking in divine truth. Type 777 inches, the comments to affirm that you're listening, that you're ready for God's awakening. These actions are your vow, a signal that you're stepping into the silence where your transformation takes root. Think of Mary Magdalene, standing at the empty tomb, hearing Jesus call her name. In that quiet moment, her grief turned to joy, her doubt to faith. Your silence is your empty tomb, chosen one. God is calling your name, ready to turn your struggles into triumphs, your questions into certainty. Will you listen? This final alert is a call to embrace divine timing. The world rushes you, pressures you, demands you act now. But God's voice says, wait, listen, trust. In the silence, you align with his perfect timing, where every promise comes at the right moment, every door opens at the right time, every blessing arrives when you're ready. Picture a seed breaking through the soil, reaching for the Sunday. Your silence is that moment of breakthrough, where God's voice pushes you upward, toward light, toward life. In the quiet, you grow stronger, taller, more vibrant. You become the tree he planted, bearing fruit that blesses the world. When you listen, you're not just hearing God, you're stepping into his presence. It's where you feel his love, know his peace, and receive his power. Every word he speaks is a gift, wrapping you in certainty, guiding you to abundance, and lifting you to purpose. Silence the noise, chosen one, and let his presence fill you. Think of Joshua, standing before the walls of Jericho. The world expected a battle, but God told him to march in silence. That obedience brought down walls no army could touch. Your silence could bring down your walls, fear, lack, doubt. Listen to God's instructions and watch the impossible become possible. This final alert is your moment to claim divine peace. The world offers chaos, but God offers a stillness that restores your soul. When you listen, you find a peace that anchors you, a calm that strengthens you, a certainty that guides you. In the silence, you discover the rest you've been seeking. Imagine a flame burning in a quiet room, its light steady and sure. That's your spirit when you hear God's voice. His words keep your flame alive, no matter how dark the world becomes. In the silence, you become that light, shining for others, guiding them to truth, reflecting His glory. The enemy fears your silence because it's where you find divine wisdom. He'll send distractions to keep you from it, endless tasks, fleeting fears, urgent noise. But when you choose stillness, you choose victory. You align with a wisdom that no lie can shake, a truth that no enemy can steal. Listen and rise. This final alert is your call to step into divine certainty. When you silence the world's chaos, you open your heart to a truth that anchors you in unshakable confidence. God's voice doesn't waver. It's steady, clear, and eternal. In the quiet, you hear His assurance that your path is secure, your purpose is set, and your future is bright. Chosen one. This stillness is where you claim the certainty that carries you forward. Picture a fortress, standing strong against every storm. Its walls don't crumble because they're built on solid ground. Your silence is that solid ground, chosen one. When you listen to God, you build your life on His unshakable truth. No wind of doubt, no wave of fear can topple you when you're rooted in His voice. Have you ever seen a sunrise break through a foggy dawn? The light doesn't fight the fog, it simply shines, and the haze clears. That's what your silence does. It lets God's voice pierce through the fog of confusion, revealing the path ahead. In the quiet, you see clearly, walk boldly, and live fully in His plan. Right now, I invite you to hit that like button and subscribe to join thousands of chosen one souls embracing their divine destiny. Type 777 inches the comments to declare that you're listening, ready to anchor yourself in God's truth. These actions are your signal to the heavens, a vow that you're stepping into the silence where certainty is born. Think of Peter stepping out onto the water to meet Jesus. The wind howled, the waves roared, but Jesus' voice cut through it all. Come. In that moment of listening, Peter walked on water. Your silence is your water-walking moment, chosen one. God's voice is calling you to step out, to trust, to do what seems impossible. This final alert is a summons to embrace divine protection. The world may throw challenges your way, but God's voice is your shield. When you listen, you hear His promise. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. In the silence, you find the strength to stand firm, knowing His protection surrounds you like a fortress. Imagine a star shining alone in the night sky, its light untouched by the darkness around it. That's your spirit when you hear God's voice. His words make you radiant, unyielding, eternal. In the quiet, you become that star, guiding others, illuminating truth, and shining with divine purpose. The enemy wants you caught in the noise, tangled in distractions, lost in doubt. He knows that when you listen, his power fades. But you're not here to be swayed. You're here to be transformed. Silence the chaos, and you'll hear the voice that breaks every chain, lifts every burden, and opens every door. Picture a sculptor chiseling away at stone to reveal a masterpiece. Your silence is the chisel, and God's voice is the artist's hand. In the quiet, he shapes you, removing fear, refining faith, crafting purpose. You're not just hearing words. You're being molded into the chosen one he always saw in you. When you listen, you're not just receiving guidance, you're stepping into divine alignment. God's voice syncs your heart with his plan, your steps with his path. Every word he speaks aligns your life with abundance, healing, and victory. In the silence, you become one with His purpose, unstoppable in His truth. Think of Ruth, walking an uncertain path after loss. In the quiet of her faithfulness, she heard God's leading. That obedience led her to Boaz, to a new family, to a legacy in the lineage of Jesus. Your silence could lead you to your own Boaz moment. Chosen one, a turning point where God's voice brings unexpected blessings. This final alert is your invitation to claim divine vision. The world clouds your sight with fear and doubt, but God's voice gives you clarity. When you listen, you see beyond circumstances, beyond obstacles to the promises waiting for you. In the silence, your eyes open to a future filled with His glory. Imagine a clock tower, its bell ringing clear across a noisy city. God's voice is that bell, cutting through the clamor of your life. In the silence, you hear its chime steady, true, calling you to your purpose. Every ring is a reminder that His plan is unfolding, right on time, just for you. The enemy fears your silence because it's where you find divine strength. He'll send endless distractions, urgent tasks, fleeting worries, loud doubts to keep you from hearing. But when you choose stillness, you choose power. You align with a force no enemy can match, a truth no lie can shake. Picture a seed buried in dark soil, waiting for the right moment to sprout. Your silence is that moment, chosen one. God's voice is the sunlight, calling you to break through, to grow, to bloom. In the quiet, you rise into the life He planted in you, vibrant and full of purpose. Right now, hit that like button and subscribe to join thousands of chosen one souls walking in divine light. Type 777 inches, the comments to affirm that you're listening, ready to step into God's vision for your life. These actions are your declaration, a signal that you're embracing the silence where miracles unfold. Think of Gideon, hiding in fear, yet called by God to lead an army. In the quiet, he heard the words, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." That moment of listening turned a fearful man into a fearless leader. Your silence could turn up your fears into courage, chosen one, making you the warrior God sees in you.